Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have recently found themselves at the centre of a storm, one that has sent ripples of discontent through the farming community across Britain. The painful budget introduced by Reeves has ignited fierce protests from farmers, who feel the weight of an inheritance tax imposed on farms valued at over £1 million. It's a move that many believe is not just misguided but harmful, and the cries for justice are echoing louder by the day. As farmers took to the streets, hoping their voices would be heard, Rachel Reeves made herself conspicuously absent. Despite the rising tensions and the legitimate grievances raised by the farming unions, she has refused to engage in dialogue. This lack of communication is not just a minor oversight, it's a glaring omission that speaks volumes about the current Labour government's priorities and willingness to engage with those it affects most. During a recent grilling at the Liaison Committee, Keir Starmer inadvertently shed light on this troubling reality. His remarks revealed the stark truth that Rachel Reeves has not met with any farmers or their representatives to discuss the fallout from her budget measures. When pressed about the validity of the figures provided and the ongoing discontent among the agricultural community, Starmer's response was telling. He acknowledged his own meetings with the National Farmers Union (NFU) president, but when it came to Reeves, the silence was deafening. The exchange was revealing. Starmer was confronted with the emotional testimony of a farmer who broke down under the weight of the financial pressures brought on by the new policies. This was not a laughing matter, yet the levity in the room was a stark contrast to the pain and suffering being experienced by those on the ground. Starmer's attempt to distance himself from Reeves's failures only underscored the growing rift within the Labour Party regarding how to handle the agricultural sector. It's become painfully clear that Rachel Reeves's budget is not just a series of numbers and policies. It represents a fundamental misunderstanding of the realities faced by British farmers. The refusal to meet with those impacted by her decisions speaks to a deeper issue, an arrogance that suggests the government knows best without ever bothering to listen. It's a dangerous precedent when those in power are unwilling to engage with the very people they govern. The fallout from this budget is not just a political issue, it's a human one. Farmers are not just numbers on a balance sheet. They are families, communities, and livelihoods that are being threatened by policies that seem out of touch with reality. The anguish expressed by witnesses in committee sessions should be a wake-up call to Starmer and Reeves. Ignoring the plight of farmers is not just politically expedient, it's morally indefensible. As the protests continue and the discontent grows, one has to wonder if Keir Starmer and his Labour government are truly equipped to lead in 2024. Their failure to engage with the farming community raises serious questions about their priorities and their ability to govern effectively. Are they so consumed by their own agenda that they can't see the damage being done? Or is it simply a case of being out of touch with the very people they claim to represent? The backlash from the farming community is not going away. The anger is palpable, and the calls for accountability are growing louder. The message is clear: farmers deserve to have their voices heard, and they deserve leaders who are willing to listen and act on their concerns. The silence from Rachel Reeves is not just a misstep, it's a disservice to an entire sector that forms the backbone of the British economy. In light of all this, one must ask, does Keir Starmer and his government represent the worst thing that has happened to the United Kingdom in 2024? As farmers continue to fight for their livelihoods, it's hard to argue otherwise. The cries for change are resonating, and it's time for those in power to wake up and acknowledge the reality of the situation. If they do not, they risk not only their political future but also the very fabric of the communities they have sworn to serve. The time for complacency is over. The farmers are rising, and they will not be silenced. It's time for Starmer and Reeves to step up, take responsibility, and truly engage with the people they claim to represent. If they don't, they may find themselves facing a backlash that could change the political landscape forever. The question remains, will they listen, or will they continue to ignore the voices of those who feed the nation? The answer will define their legacy and the future of British agriculture.